3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Politipop Podcast, the podcast where we take your favorite pop culture media and discuss the social and political themes within. This week, we had a lot to talk about for our pop culture media. That's right, it was Watchmen episodes 7 through 9. So we actually decided to release that in one episode, and we also had a lot to talk about as far as current events and housekeeping goes for the first week of September 2020. So we decided to put that in its own housekeeping episode. So if you're listening to this episode, it means that you want to listen to our takes on current events and, politics and the news and stuff like that. If you don't want to listen to our takes on that, then head on over to the episode that's being released today, HBO's Watchmen, episode 7 through 9. Thank you so much for your support. Remember, you can listen to us, rate and review us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or on Red Circle app. That is our new hosting platform. You can find us and let us know what you think on Twitter at PolitiPopPod, on Instagram at PolitiPopPodcast, email us at politipopcast@gmail.com, and find our show notes and sources at politipoppodcast.wordpress.com so you know we're not just full of shit. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and try not to think of the impending hellscape that is our world. And also, read between the lines. Come on. He does, and before we talk about that ending, there is some housekeeping. The news cycle is insane.
What?
No,
really?
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, well, basically, I know last time we just touched on the Jacob Blake shooting, and even at the time we covered it, it was so behind. Or I guess at the time we released that episode. But we are in a news podcast. We're, an entertainment podcast that, has some political themes and talks about the news once in a while.
Yeah, we dabble. We dabble.
Yeah, we dabble. We're not, it's not much, but it's honest work. I'll say that.
Someone's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. So, Jacob Blake, he was a black man who was shot by cops in L.A. 7 times in the back. Update is that he is alive. He is paralyzed, I believe, from the waist down. Recently, it was reported that he was actually handcuffed to his bed because, I guess, resisting arrest. So they wanted to make sure that this guy who they paralyzed from the waist down didn't go anywhere. But his attorneys have confirmed that he is no longer handcuffed to the bed. So that's the update on that. There's an interesting video that was shared. It was, I think, at least a year or two ago, but I have the video in the show notes of a white man who is at a traffic stop yelling at a cop and threatening to kill him. And saying oh, you suck, fuck you, I ought to kill you, pointing a gun at me in front of my own family. And he keeps getting in and out of his car and all this stuff. And the cop doesn't shoot him. And a lot of stuff probably would have been warranted in a situation like this. Yet the cop showed so much restraint to this guy who happened to be of the Caucasian persuasion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, just take a look in the show notes if you want to see the double standards there. Also, I'm not sure if you remember Rayshard Brooks, the guy who was he was driving under the influence. He was at the drive-thru at a Wendy's and, when confronted by cops, ended up being shot in the back also. I saw another video today showing a double standard where there was a drunk guy, white guy, of course, who was driving under the influence, hit a car, was given a ticket by the cops, walking all around the crime scene, and not being stopped at all. They gave him a ticket, towed his truck, and let him, stumble home. And he could, barely fucking walk. It's ridiculous. Let's keep this bad boy moving. Part of the Jacob Blake protests, because it was in Kenosha, Wisconsin, saw the vigilante justice of Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yep.
He is a young man, some might even say a boy, at 17 years old. He's an adolescent who crossed state lines to, quote, protect people and property in Kenosha, Wisconsin. In doing so, he ended up shooting and killing 2 people, and I think he shot 3 people, killed 2 of them.
Yeah, he severely injured another. He wasn't even. I don't think he's even from Wisconsin, right? He crossed state lines.
Yes, he did.
With his rifle, which is, from what I understand, is illegal. That's what I've been reading. His mother drove him.
His lawyer's gonna make a case against it, but yeah, that is the case.
I mean, how ridiculous! His mommy drove him with a gun to go shoot people. Like, it's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. Yeah, and you know, his 2 victims supposedly have, you know, a criminal record, so people have been calling that forward, saying, well, look, he didn't kill good people, he didn't kill innocent people. But again, we've spoken about this many times, I think, recently, that just because you're guilty of something doesn't mean you deserve to die, right? And, you know, these people have already, whether they have a criminal record or not, have served their time or done whatever they need to. They didn't deserve to be shot and killed for protesting. You know, and I know at least one of them was trying to stop him and disarm him and was killed in the act. Yeah, and then Trump, you know, came out, I think 2 days ago, and basically said he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like. I guess he was in very big trouble. He probably would have been killed. So rather than condemning him, he was like, I get it. You know, he was fighting for his life. And that's kind of the defense people are taking. You know, a lot of people are calling this guy an American hero, and, you know, this is what people should be doing. They should be, you know, I think the police actually thanked him for being there with the other militia supporters that he was with, and gave them water. So, you know, it's really fucked. It's really fucked up.
I have 2 links in the show notes also that have, like, behind the scenes videos of what happened, like, you know, why he said he was there, and the actual video of the shooting and him being chased down and stuff. And one of those links that is also a timeline that specifically says that he shot somebody first and then was chased down and shot another person.
Yeah, multiple witnesses have come forward to say this.
And by the way, do you know what news source that's from?
What source is that from? Fox?
It's from fucking Fox, and it still confirms that.
Yeah, because it's the truth. You know, like, as much as they want to not believe it, like, it is what it is, you know? Like, so many people have come forward to say, you know, he openly, you know, murdered someone, and then when the crowd tried to disarm him, he continued to murder people. And then, you know, they were screaming at the police that he had done this, and police did nothing. He walked right past them. I think he went home.
Yeah.
You know,
he did. And, you know, and he, you know, there are charges that have been brought against him, also available in the links I'm talking about. But, I mean, like, because there's the argument of, like, oh, well, like, you know, somebody, they say, like, one of them took his skateboard and tried to cave his head in with a deadly weapon and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Like, as long as the left is using it, it's a deadly weapon, even if it's against a kid with an AR-15. But yeah, so even if, right? Like, let's say even if in a world where this whole thing is self-defense, which it's not, and I'll explain why in a little bit, he shouldn't have had that gun at his age.
Yes.
Okay? So even if he showed up to agitate protesters, he shouldn't have had that gun. B, no reason why, like you said, no reason why his mom should have driven him across state lines. Okay? C, no reason the cops should have let him get through in the first place. Like, they wanted this to happen if they let this kid through. You know, if your mission is to uphold the peace, why are you going to be like, oh, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Don't bring a gun near this spot. Like, you know, things are dangerous enough, but they didn't. They gave him water and everything. So, like, long story short is, it's the cops' fault. They should be charged, and his mother should be charged as well.
Yeah, you're saying if the cops had instead said to him, like, you know, you don't need to be here, go home, how many, you know, all those lives would have been saved. But instead they thanked him. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting us. Here's some water. You know, they were having this kid do their dirty work for them. You know what I mean? That way the cops don't have to crack any skulls or just let this kid shoot people up.
I don't know. Negligent homicide doesn't even begin to describe it because, you know, guess what? Like, I was having a discussion with Dee about this, and, you know, she thought that I was being a little bit too compassionate here. But the way I look at it is he's a 17-year-old kid who idolizes cops. Okay, like you go through his background. Like it seems that like he really viewed them as the good guys, and
Yes.
and firefighters too. Like he was part of this firefighter program. Apparently he was also part of he said he was a certified EMT. Even though you have to be at least 18 to get that certification.
God damn,
he lied there.
He's a firefighter, cop, EMT.
Yeah, like he wanted to be like the ultimate first responder, which, oh God, in another world sounds like an amazing superhero.
It really
I am
does.
The first responder, and like
Ooh.
from within him comes the spirits to like, and like guide other people to become first responders. Generations.
Cut
later.
that. We're keeping that. We're
gonna have to keep that. That's actually pretty fucking incredible. But yeah. So and this a couple of programs, or at least one of them said, I don't remember if it was the fireman or the cop program, like the young cadet program, said that he hadn't even been in the program for a year. But Kyle seemed to be like this like nerdy chubby kid, and by the time he got to Kenosha, clearly he lost some weight and everything like that. But like he has, I think, been brought up on a diet of propaganda like the rest of us have. Yeah. And he buys into it, and he legitimately thought he was doing the right thing. Now, I personally hope that, some of these charges stick. He's found guilty of them. I don't want him put away for life. I'll say that.
Why
I don't
not?
know what the proper punishment is.
He still committed murder. Like at 17, would you have killed to protect your heroes? Probably not, right? I don't think he would have committed murder.
Who are my heroes? That's it.
Batman.
Would I have killed for Batman? Who the fuck wouldn't kill for Batman?
Batman wouldn't kill for you, so you shouldn't kill for Batman.
Oh my God. So, save that. That's another comic book about the Joker winning over everybody. Not as Jack Napier, but as the Joker, like in a political debate with Batman.
That's hilarious. His mom should also, be put away. She's negligent
he
as
was
well.
enabled. Like I just feel like there's no, like they knew he was there looking for trouble. Like, and the trouble was going to find him. Any little thing could make you jumpy. Oh fuck, that's trouble. Got to shoot. I think there is some time to be served. I think there's a lot of rehabilitation and community service that should happen.
Maybe, but our prison systems aren't set up that way, so he'll never be rehabilitated.
They're fucking not. You're absolutely right. He'll get in there. The Aryan Brotherhood will take care of him, and who knows from there. He gets even more radicalized, and that would be an absolute shame, because I do think that like I guess it's because like I've in previous jobs, I've worked with ex-convicts, not incredibly long, but I have come into contact with them, and I did see their records, and to see like the people they were versus the things they did, it's just like like they really wanted to get out and clear air and just whatever lease they had on life, with the remaining 30 years or 25 years, whatever it is, because they get out pretty old. They wanted to make a difference or something like that, and most of those. I think all those guys were, either black or Hispanic. So I think to myself, if this kid was black or Hispanic, would I give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, excuse me, would I give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, yeah, put him away for life, and lock him up, throw away the key or whatever? Or would I be like, listen, he's got to serve his debt to society, but he has to pay his debt to society, excuse me, but he also does have, I don't know, he has another life to live if he's willing to do some community service and truly rehabilitate, which, like you said, is very difficult.
It's just, there's so many, people of color that have not gotten that same opportunity. So it almost feels to me like, why should he? It's just desserts. Like, what's his name? Khalif Browder, I believe his name was, the one who was jailed for stealing a backpack, right? Without a trial. He was in jail for years before they let him out, abused horribly, and then he killed himself, And like, that's a punishment he got for allegedly stealing a backpack. So you know what? You gotta make a statement that if you're gonna commit murder, you're gonna pay for it, right? Like, it's just, if you give him a slap on the wrist and tell him, he's gonna get this opportunity that so many other people don't. That's not fair to people of color. It's not fair to the Black Lives Matter protesters, to the families of these victims. So, I get what you're saying. Obviously, it'd be great if he came out of the system and wanted to make a difference and educate people on why we should be supporting our the different people of this nation. But he's not gonna. It's not gonna happen like that. I really doubt it. And unfortunately, the cops who let him stay there, they're not gonna get a penalty. No one else is gonna pay for this. So, Breonna Taylor's killers are still walking free. I doubt that anyone else who let this guy go is gonna pay. So someone's gotta, and it's gonna hopefully be him. That's how I feel.
You make a point there, but you know what? The third comic book idea that we've come up with so far. Here we go. This kid ends up being kidnapped by Antifa, and they brainwash him and radicalize him to becoming the Antifa soldier. Antifa,
and
that'll be and he gets a metal arm or metal leg. We don't want to get sued.
He's the biggest fan of Antifa, and he just goes around
Antifa. Oh my fucking god! Yeah, wow. But this kid seriously did kill people, so that's that really sucks. Hopefully whatever justice is, it gets served. It probably won't, like you said.
Yeah,
the kid's white. He'll be fine.
I think
people are already setting up bail funds for him.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. I was gonna say, like, even worse than him actually committing this crime are the thousands, if not millions, of people who have come forward to say they support him. They believe in him. He's a hero. The word hero is used consistently. I had a coworker actually send me screenshots from a Facebook argument she was having today, where somebody was calling him a hero. They said Colin Kaepernick is a piece of shit, and Kyle is my hero.
Why are they being compared in the first place?
I don't know, because I guess
two very different
a protester and an anti-protester. I don't know, but like they were basically going like, oh, like I have black family members and friends, so I'm not racist, but it's like just
I'm not racist, but
like Jesus,
that begins at the racist Pledge of Allegiance, actually. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, I think like. It's just like he's considered a hero because he did a wrong thing for the right people. You know what I mean? Like in their minds, like, oh, well, that's vigilantism. What he did is vigilantism.
Yeah,
and it is illegal.
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
And they're like, oh, but he was doing the right thing. He was there. The kid even says I'm there to protect property. Yep. Like, that's the thing, man. Fucking nobody bats an eye at people being executed, every fucking day.
Yep.
But as soon as there's gonna become no one bats an eye when people are murdered on the streets every day. But you tell me that a car dealership is gonna burn down, everyone loses their minds.
It's true.
That was pretty good. I dialed in there.
That was pretty good. He's the property punisher. Like that's what he is.
Anti-fan property punisher.
I mean, that's what he became.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, people are so like, they're like, these protesters, they're burning down businesses, they're breaking windows, so we have to fucking murder them. Like, hello, are you that moronic that someone's life equals broken glass? I don't get it. Insurance can replace that building, they can replace that window. You can't replace someone's life, no matter how fucking hard you try. Necromancers are not real. So once someone's dead, they're gone, and these people just don't care. They think it's justified. It's okay. Breaking some windows and buildings is enough to justify it. And it just, I don't get how anyone can feel that way. I really don't.
Well, speaking of lives that can't be replaced, I want to take you back to L.A. And tell you the story of Dijon Kizzee. He was a black gentleman who was stopped on his bike. He was riding in the wrong lane or something. Apparently, the L.A. Sheriff's Department did not provide details of the specific code violation. But yeah, apparently they accosted him, stopped him on his bike, and one thing said that he apparently got into a tussle with them. Another thing says that he dropped a bunch of clothes that he was holding in his hand. He dropped them and put his hands up, and apparently there was a handgun in the clothes that he dropped.
Okay.
But he had his hands up. There is a video, check the show notes, in which 15 to 16 shots ring out as they murder this man. Yeah, this led to another protest. Well, actually, I don't think this led specifically to, but it was, but you know, there's been, like, I wish I knew the exact number, but like, it's been like almost 3 months of straight protest in Portland, Oregon. And, you know, a bunch of dudes in their pickup trucks waving Trump flags and everything came in to agitate the protesters and you know, back the blue, as it were. One of them sprayed chemicals, like, you know, I'm assuming like mace or pepper spray, something like that.
Right.
At one of like the, you know, one of the protesters, one of the BLM protesters. And the dude got shot and killed. So, you know, I've seen online people are saying like, oh, we got one of theirs or something like that. I'm not saying they're like bragging about it. You know, I'm just saying like, obviously there's fucking sides to this shit. So, you know, we've ever since Heather Heyer, right, have been losing people to white supremacists. You know, this guy was, I don't know. I don't feel good about that either, man. Like, you know, kudos to this dude for defending himself. He didn't know it was being sprayed at him. But God fucking damn, like, why? Like, I don't understand why this shit has to happen. You know, I really.
People shouldn't be killed, right? Like people don't need to be murdered. That's just like, no matter what the situation, it just really sucks. It really sucks.
And what sucks here is that, those guys, like, weren't arrested or told to turn away their caravan or anything. Like, you know, they were coming specifically to agitate. You know, there's videos of them trying to run people over in the middle of the street. You know, it's just like, listen, we're all on the proletariat side. We should really be fighting the state together. You know, that's what we should be doing. You know, we shouldn't be throwing bullets at each other. We should be
combining
protesting.
Our bullets. We should be loading each other's magazines.
Yes, we should. Yeah, with love and affection, and aim our critique at the state. Okay. God, if I get disappeared next week, you fucking know why. No, we don't have. We have literally like 9.5 followers right now. So
which we appreciate and we love.
Yes,
thanks for listening.
But yeah, so we've gone up, but it's not 9.5 followers. So yeah, the you know, and of course there have been like clashes between Trump and Biden over the protests. You know, like
clashes.
You know, obviously clashes. That was the title of the article. That was the headline, by the way. I didn't come up with the clash between these two soft, rubbery men falling into each other.
It's fucking just hilarious to think about.
It is, but yeah, obviously, like, you know, but even Biden's coming out right now and saying like, oh, burning property isn't the answer. Meanwhile, Trump's pointing at things that are happening in his presidency and saying that's going to be happening under Biden, even though it's happening now. Like. These two conservatives, guys, if you're gonna vote conservative at all, I don't think anyone who listens to this podcast will, but vote for Biden. He's the conservative you want.
Yeah.
He's just as racist. He wants to keep funding the police, if not even more, you know.
Listen, if you're listening and you are a supporter of Black Lives Matter, if maybe you've been protesting or marching or whatever, and you vote for Joe Biden, reality check, he doesn't agree with you. In fact, he's created a lot of these problems himself. So just think about that. I know you want Trump out. We all want Trump out. But just really think about that.
But if you're planning on voting conservative, vote for Biden because he's still cool with kids in cages. Like, you know, it's literally, I think he might take the virus seriously. That might be it. But
he'll quietly bomb your favorite Arab countries, you know, like he's gonna keep things status quo. Don't worry about it.
Do you have a favorite Arab country, Ty?
I don't know if I have a favorite, you know, like, I really feel for Syria right now. Is really kind of like one of my favorite countries that I do feel for. So I'm gonna just say I feel for Syria. People there are suffering. They've been suffering for many years, and nobody's helping them, including the United States, especially the United States. So,
all right, good to know. next week on Tyler's favorite Arab countries, we go into his runner-up. Last thing before we actually get into the episodes. I don't know. I'm just wondering, dude. Like, as passionate as we are about what we believe in, those other people are just as passionate about what they believe in. Like, is there a way to educate people like that? Like, I really don't know. Like, I was having it, not having it out. I was having a discussion with, Joe Armstrong again, and, talking about, like, he says, like, oh, well, if people see that you're being beaten by the oppressor, then they'll know that the oppressor is the bad guy. Like, you have to be as peaceful as possible and all this other shit. But, like, literally, like, this, like, the state is allowing dudes, to show up, with fucking, to show up with their guns and show up with their pickup trucks. And, they're allowing, like, further vigilantism on the oppressed side. Like, meanwhile, the other side has, like, if anything, guerrilla warfare tactics, throwing cans of soda and, using leaf blowers to not get tear gassed, and, they'll show up with a shield. Like, a lot of it is, like, defensive maneuvers.
Which is considered a weapon by the police, right? If you bring a shield. Yes, a shield
is, bringing a shield to a protest is considered intent, but apparently Kyle Rittenhouse bringing an AR-15 is not.
I'm just like, when has peace ever solved anything? I guess that's the question you really got to ask. Unfortunately, like,
I guess we should say pacifism. What is pacifism?
Yeah, when has pacifism ever solved anything? People say Martin Luther King, ended racism, but in reality, like, obviously he didn't, but things changed after he was murdered and people rioted. That's when the government decided to go, okay, we'll listen to you. So again, even though he inspired a lot of people, it really that wasn't ultimately what got the job done. So
yeah, you got to inconvenience people, however it is, and if Antifa and, like, the left were really as violent as they say we are, like, you would fucking know. Don't worry, like, the.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today. I'm like, I was actually wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt today that I had, and, like, I was just like, I was behind a guy who had a Blue Lives Matter sticker on his truck, and I was like, man, if this guy saw my shirt, he would fucking lose it, right? Like, he would lose it, and, like, I honestly was like, he could get violent, and I'm a white guy, but, like, they would probably consider me like a race traitor or something for having that shirt on. And I'm like, we're dealing with people that are just much more prone to violence. So it's scary, no matter how peaceful we try to keep things, these people just don't care.
And to those people, I would say, look at your heroes, who founded this, and I'm saying quote unquote heroes. Like, look at your quote-unquote heroes that founded this country. Like, did we politely ask when it was convenient, to not be colonies anymore and to be independent? No. We had to fucking go to war. Like, sorry, that's what this fucking country is built on. And you see right now that there are people who are on the side of the state, and there are those who are saying, like, stop killing us and shit. Like, sometimes you got to fucking go to war. Like...
Yeah,
that's, and I'm not saying go to war. I'm not fucking Alex Jonesing anyone here, but, like, some property damage. That's what lets people know, hey, we're serious. And hopefully it doesn't extend past that. I really hope it doesn't.
I hope it doesn't either. I did have one more thing. I just wanted to mention. So on Sunday, there was another convention after, both the Republican and Democratic convention called the People's Convention. There is a movement for a People's Party starting. And Nina Turner, a senator who is very close with Bernie Sanders, was probably going to be his VP pick. She was a part of this. And a lot of people think she is going to run for president under this new party. Unfortunately, I would like to talk about this more in the future. I haven't gotten the chance to watch the convention. I was at work. But it's kind of cool to see, you know, there is a movement for this. People are you know, want legitimate change, and you know, even if it doesn't work now, I'm hoping that it can get some steam, move forward in the future. They you know, they're trying really hard to just change things and really shake up the status quo. So check it out. Check out the People's Convention, Moving for a People's Party, and see what you think.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for bringing it up. And yeah, we'll have that link in the show notes for everyone as well. Remember, just like we covered with Snowpiercer when, you know, Bernie ceded to Biden and everything, like, we're behind values, not behind people. We're behind ideas.
Yeah.
So
we're not Bernie or bust, right? I think I sent you a great tweet today. We're for, you know, Medicare for all, a Green New Deal. We're for the ideals that he was representing, you know, not the man himself. So
yeah, seizing the means of production, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope that you enjoyed our takes on these current events and everything like that. If you have anything that you need to let us know, remember, find us on Twitter at PolitiPopPod, on Instagram at PolitiPopPodcast, email us at PolitiPopcast@gmail.com, and find our show notes and sources, as always, at PolitiPopPodcast.wordpress.com. Please make sure that you listen to our other episodes. We are contemplating doing our housekeeping behind a paywall, but we're not 100% set on it at this moment. But we will be splitting up the housekeeping episodes and our movie and show and everything else reviews that we do into separate episodes moving forward. That way we can keep these things at an appropriate listening length for you, and also it just helps us out a bit so we can compartmentalize our rage at the world and our love of movies and shows and everything like that. Thank you so much for listening, as always, and remember to never stop thinking, never stop learning, and always read between those lines.